We're live.
Yeah.
Finally.
Let's see. That would make it
Oh.
6 hours later. 6 hours and 15 minutes to be exact.
Let me tell you.
So, go
Let
ahead.
me tell you.
Let them have it.
Technology.
It wasn't technology. It was an outage.
It was an outage.
So we kept trying to get online. We kept trying to get online. We kept trying to get online. And of course it didn't happen. So, ta-da! Here we are in our night gear. So I guess we're going to try to attempt this again.
We're freshly showered.
You know, I'll just All right. So.
All right.
All right. Hi. Okay.
Now,
So let's.
If we get questions on here, it's hard to see. So if we miss it,
Yeah.
perhaps post it under the video and we'll get to it or something. I don't know how to.
So what we're going to attempt to do is read the questions we did get because we got a bunch of them. So
Hi everybody. Yes, this is live right now.
yes, this is live right
Thank
now.
you for following.
Yes, yes. So I'm going to go ahead and do this first question, and this one was, "Hi Lee and Sherry, just watch you live on Instagram. I'm not going to be able to watch you guys live tomorrow, so here's my question for the Q&A. Twin broke a year of silence a few months ago, so we are in contact now. We text every once in a while.
Got it.
When we do, we are nothing but the nicest to each other, but we don't talk about us or the connection at all. I really want to though, but every time I've had the intention to bring up the subject, I swear to God he senses it, and he avoids it and runs. So the last thing I want to do is push it or rush it. So my question is, should I just tell him my truth and be vulnerable and honest and transparent regardless? Or should I keep holding space and not saying anything yet? Or maybe let him say something first whenever he is ready? I'd really appreciate this advice. Hugs from Chili. Much love. P.S. Back in February, I won a session with you guys on that Facebook trivia contest you did in the group.
I'm always doing trivia contests
Yes.
and stuff.
And what we discussed that day was absolutely life-changing. I felt so stuck, and you really helped me see things that would have probably taken me years to discover and work through on my own. So
Oh.
thank you so much. And Twin broke his silence just a couple of weeks after we had that session.
That happens.
Nameless. I can't post your name because we didn't have permission. So,
By the way, we don't post names. What would a Lee and Sherry video be without Sherry's call? We do not say names unless you're a relationship reinvented coach or we have permission. So we're just like, hi.
So, do you want to go ahead and answer?
This one's,
Yeah, I'm not advertising Coke. This is cola.
this is
I like
the
I like
cheap stuff.
Sam's cola.
It's
Sam's.
good.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, let's, I'm trying to remember the actual question.
So the question is, should she tell him the whole truth? Because what she's sensing is that he avoids it and runs. The answer is the question.
Happened to me.
So,
Happened to me.
okay, so maybe,
It did happen to me.
do you want to answer or do you want me to?
No, go ahead. You've got, I feel you.
Okay. Well, what you're
Oh, I'll
probably
add.
experiencing and what he's experiencing is because the connection only goes off of feeling and not thought. So you're sitting there trying to have a thought pattern based on what you think he feels, and that's probably what's causing him to run. Because what he's starting to sense is that something is off. And that something would happen to be you. So here's what you got to look at. Because his interpretation of your interaction so far has been open and everything else. But when you think you want to talk about it, you start to think or overthink everything that's going on. And then your body and your vibration start sending signals that says he's got to run, he's going to run. It's almost like you're going to automatically say something to him that's going to make him run in the first place.
Did I do that?
We're not talking about us.
Okay,
So
why not?
here's how
Why
you
not?
handle this.
I may have.
Because what you're really kind of trying to do is you're trying to go ahead and think for him. Stop thinking for him. That is one of the biggest issues with this connection is we want to think for the other person. And they didn't ask you to. So the pattern that you're actually, or the actual fight that you're actually having is the one with yourself. Because you're overthinking what you think they think, so you can think about what they think ahead of time, so you can already give them permission to abandon and reject you because you've already abandoned and rejected them by not even listening to their thinking. Yeah, rewind all of that.
Did I do that?
Do you still do that?
What?
So, here's the thing. Just be open. Let it flow. Just be open to talk about everything and anything. Stop trying to go ahead and dictate that you got to talk about the connection. If communication is there, strengthen the communication. The communication is a part of communion. Get it? Communion. So if communication is not in place, union probably will struggle. So you got to build the communication and let it continue to build. God, we were great at communication, but we sucked at it. And there's still this space where, this connection overrides you. Mm-hmm. And see, we know something that we keep trying to tell you guys over and over again by why we told you our story, why we told you our journey, why all of these things, why Relationship Reinvented was created. And here's what the truth is. Feeling doesn't lie, thinking does.
And we'll move on to the next question. And there's one right here.
Oh, okay.
I want it, because somebody else was wondering the same thing. We also had a comment that you two are often the voices of sanity. What? On an insane trip. Thank you for being available and spreading your truth. I feel like I'm insane 24 hours a day, and I embrace that. But thank you, Ben.
Well, we realize that the connection is not in the mind, it's out of it. So I would say that that's probably the best way to say it. If you're trying to be in this connection and being in your mind.
That wasn't the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was the comment.
Here's the question. Why would someone keep seeing their twin flame's name everywhere, even though they aren't even talking? You guys have probably heard me say this 70 trillion times on videos and things. And when Lee and I were, it wasn't the last separation, it was a separation before that, but it also happened in the last separation too. But the hardest separation for me, I guess, was the separation we had before the filing. For many reasons, because it was because of my actions. But so I could anyway. So we had our last confrontation and we left, and I was I didn't know what I was gonna do. So in the car, like I looked down, my daughter's wearing Lee jeans. There's a Lee's famous recipe right up the street. I see the sign. Lee Cleaners is right by it, and there's a Lee Shoe Repair, right? My daughter runs in and grabs some Lee press-on nails. You can't make this shit up. Everywhere. His name was everywhere. And you know what? Now that we're in union, and if I pay attention, it's still everywhere. It really is still everywhere. I see it. I grabbed a Coke bottle. It's in Share Coke with Lee the other day, and I grabbed it and cut it out and put it in my little makeup thing. But it still happens even in union. Now, please, this is only my opinion. It's not. This is not written in stone, but in my opinion, it's simply confirmation.
Absolutely. It's actually telling you what you actually already feel is the truth, and it keeps flooding to you back to the same truth. So literally what you feel is what's showing up. What you think is what's against it. Okay, so the next one.
The next question, I'll find the next.
Okay. Hello, Lee and Sherry. For a long time, I've been following both your advice and trying my best to go within and heal the things that have been blocking my connection between me and my divine partner. But I feel like there is so much blockage, I can't hear what is going on within. So my only option that's left is to pay attention to what he is mirroring back to me. I've been working with one of your lovely coaches, but I still feel like I'm missing an important piece to the puzzle because he triggers me so much. I'm having a hard time interpreting what it is he is mirroring back to me. So my question is, how far can you take these mirror effects and turn them inward? Or what is the first step on how to dissect these mirror effects to get to the core of what needs healing within myself? Thank you so much. Nameless. I like doing it.
Nameless.
Nameless.
Jane Doe, John Doe.
You got this? Or you got me? You want me to get it?
Go ahead. I'm
Okay.
going to back you up. And
Okay.
I want to address this cough real quick because it's happening.
You got medication. You just don't take
I
it.
got medication. I just don't take it, and I should. I'm just not a medication person, but it's fine. I should do that.
I'm changing.
It was caused by another medication, so they're treating it with medication. I don't believe in that. It's fine. It's going away. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's been here for 5 years.
Absolutely.
I would miss it. Okay, let's go.
All right. So, to answer this question, what's interesting is you can point and say somebody triggers you. Well, the thing is you already carry a loaded gun. Let me tell you what I mean by that. A loaded gun is something that we created in infancy, then we took along with this, along with our adolescence into our early adult years, and we built this gun to shoot whatever it needs to be shot. And usually it comes in the form of, you make me feel like you don't listen to me. You make me feel like I'm not good enough. You make me feel like I don't matter. You make me feel like, and you're always defending that. And the gun is always going to shoot these bullets. The issue with the gun is that you got to go back, and when it's being mirrored back to you, is you got to go back and find out what you actually were saying. Because if somebody's triggering you, a perfect example of this is if, let's say, for example, Sherry and I are in a fight. And Sherry just goes,
You don't want to.
you always treat me like I'm just stupid or I'm selfish or I'm this or I'm that. And I look at her and I go, okay, stop. Did you hear me say any of those words out of my mouth? Well, no, but that's just the way. And she's going to keep
Is
fighting.
that how I sound?
Yes.
Well, no.
Yes. So what I end up doing in this case is I go like this. I go, come here, look in my eyes. Did I say you were stupid? Did I say that you didn't matter? Did I say that you're not enough? Did I say any of those things to you in your eyes? And
Well, no.
she says, well, no. And then usually the well, no is
I
followed
would
by
not
a
say
but.
that.
And the but is usually the issue. The but is something you just did to yourself that you're blaming them for. Who told you to do that? So if you're triggered, what they're going to mirror back to you is not what they're mirroring back to you. It's what you already have been saying in the mirror to yourself any damn way.
Right.
So you got to go in and find out where you learned to say that.
Right.
You got to keep trying. And most people get it. We get it. And that's why my beautiful twin here has built Root Camp, and we can go in there. We can find all of those triggers. We can actually look at them. We can actually see what you're doing to yourself. Don't think that you don't have any depth. You do. All of you do. All of you have very deep spaces within you, and there's a whole bunch of love in there that you're saying nobody can ever reach. But you haven't created a path for them to. So you got to go and kind of find out what's blocked you from that path. So that's kind of what we do. So if you're saying I'm triggered, you just shot yourself. They don't know you did that. But now you got to defend why you shot yourself. So I know it sounds silly.
Wow.
But trust me, we've had thousands of conversations that always show us when somebody shoots themselves. And it's so, we don't even pay attention to it because we're so subtle about it. And it becomes habit forming after, your later adult, early adult years, or even in your adolescent years. You really start to kind of cement that kind of thinking. And now they trigger you into that thought. And it was already in you, it wasn't in them. But don't worry, you do the same to them too.
Wow.
Was that?
I thought that I was going to be able to back you up, but there's no backing up. You got that.
The truth is the truth.
That's, wow.
Okay.
All right. So much thinking. How do we control it and not be so freaky? Depends on what you mean by freaky. Hold on. Here's the thing with less thinking is less speaking. So if you're a speaker, if you're a talker, if you're the boisterous one or the very outgoing one, when you stop thinking as much, you tend to be a little quieter. Hi, little buddy that's flying over our head. Can you, thank you. Oh. Anyway, let's do those. I don't like to kill bugs, but it's all good. What did you do? Falling floor? So you're checking your pants, and I'm going to tell you why he's checking his pants leg. So last night we're in the kitchen, right? I'm in the living room, Lee's in the kitchen, and I hear him going on about something, and I'm like, what the hell happened? A wasp got up into the pants of his leg, got up in the pants, and was stinging him. And I'm like, are you okay? What are you doing over there?
What was funny about this is she had to take all the stings. I didn't get any of it.
I was
Maggie's
feeling
fine
it. I was
today.
like, what the hell?
Yeah. Thank you for helping me absorb all that.
No, not a problem.
Okay,
Not a
but
problem.
go ahead and
So so we tend to be quiet. So then, you know, I'm not sure what you meant by freaky, but I'm gonna use this, and then maybe we can back me up. I don't know. But you don't have to watch your words. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
When you're speaking how you feel,
True.
not what you think,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Let what comes out of your mouth be healing, not hurting.
Mhm.
Yeah, people are gonna think you're freaky, whatever. Nobody cares.
Well,
I don't care what people think.
and then
I went from being the loud and boisterous one in my family to being the spiritual guru, and now they all think that I'm a weirdo, and I don't really care.
judgment. Okay, so let's
It's fine.
let's look at this question and let's look at it from a spiritual existence. So in other words, I want you to look at this question as in being, not thought. Because what happens to you is you have a thought process that's going against the whole act of thinking, which is another backdoor ego for thinking. Everybody is infected with this. The only reason we pay attention to anything that happens to somebody from a body level, cancer is a perfect example. Everybody is affected and has a virus called thought. If you notice, none of the other beings in nature have this issue, just us. When you come into this connection, it's trying to show you that in ways you can't even fathom if you're still stuck in thought. When I started to realize that I was infected with this thought pattern that said, she's never going to be with you. If she finds out the truth about you, she's not going to be with you. I was infected. We're all infected. We're all infected with, what if I tell her she's my twin? What if I tell her we're connected? What if I tell her what? And you're sitting there doing this, and you don't even realize that the virus is starting to eat you alive. And then all of the other thought patterns that you've always carried the rest of your life are eating away at you. Don't worry about thinking. This connection is here to show you to be beyond thought, not in it. It's trying to help you see that thinking is a natural effect. It's part of Mother Nature, just like anything else. It has its own storm. Some people are caught in storms that just don't seem to want to go out. So when you have this thought that all of a sudden says, well, you know, I feel like I just need to be stuck in this thought. I need to get away from thought. That is a thought itself. All you have to do is just pay attention to it once you listen to it. You do like this. I practice it more now than I ever thought I could possibly imagine. But I remember just seeing it, and when I was looking at her, and I was watching her talk, and I was listening to every word. And listening is a very interesting thing once you really practice it and understand it in this connection. If you really listen, you can really hear the lower tone. You don't even have to really hear the words, actually, because words are just what I'm pointing to. But beyond that, there's an energy that I can look at her and I can go, oh shit, all of this is happening around you? And then I would just want to go in and hold her. I don't want to run from her. I don't take her words and make them attack me. I notice that there's something that's, it's just like if somebody was really, really sick. We've done this thing now where we're even trying to find ways to label the person we're connected to without really understanding that they're going to label you back. Is that really what you want? So you're in the space of thought. Thought is the storm in this connection. How is it not?
hope that helps. Moving on.
Okay.
And I know that I'm probably skipping over some, and I don't know how to get back
You want
to
to
them.
jump to this one and go back
Yeah,
to that
there's one here.
Oh, okay.
Do you think about each other as often once you reunite? Maybe more.
Absolutely. I think it depends on because our communication is really, really strong.
Yeah, I would say maybe more. There's many instances, but Lee and I are together 24 hours a day. And there are times when we are not, and we are not codependent. We get that a lot. You guys are we are not codependent. I don't
even know what that means.
I don't need to be with Lee 24 hours a day.
See, that's another label.
That's another label. I like being in his presence. The first question that when I walk into a room and Lee's not there, and I normally say it out loud, is "Where's Lee?" And I may have just seen him 3 minutes ago. But where's Lee? It happens every time I walk into a room and he's
Everybody
not in
says I'm a master of disappearing.
He really is.
I'm just now. I'm not. I'm also. Oh shit! I left the shower running. I will run upstairs because I'm so present. You know, I can do 5 things.
It's so funny, but I have we actually did go to different places today. I went to the grocery store and he went to Sam's Club because he went and got bottled water, and it's
you get 40.
You get more for cheaper.
40 for $3.
We drink a lot of bottled water.
That's 80 bottles for $5.
Yeah, it's great. So he rode to Sam's and then I rode to the store, and he followed me a lot of the way. Right when we got to the intersection, and he got caught by a light. When we were going through the light, I thought, oh God, I'm leaving him back there. It's not like he doesn't know his way. We've been there a million times. So he got caught by the light, and I went on. He caught back up with me and got behind me. And I was like, oh, there he is, right? It was very familiar. Like, you were still there. You were right behind me. And I had to turn, and he had to go on through the light. And I kept looking in my rearview mirror to watch you go by, right? And I did that. And when I got to the grocery store, I thought to myself, oh, would we... I want to get home before Lee does. Didn't happen because it's Sunday at the grocery store. We live in a small town. It was a nightmare. So I called my daughter, and I was talking to her because I had a question. I said, what's Lee doing? She was like, really, Mom? Really? And, yeah, it happens. I was upstairs. I just got a shower. I have a great picture of Lee on my makeup table. It's not like I can't turn around and be like, hey, but I love this picture. It's my favorite picture of him, and I look at it as I'm getting ready for my day. But yeah, I think you think about each other more.
Absolutely.
When you're reconnected.
Absolutely.
We do, at least.
And I believe that from my aspect, I always could feel everything that's going on inside of me. Like we could sit next to each other, and I can just feel if she's thinking about me. I can feel if she's thinking about something else. But I stay in my body so I can stay with you.
Right.
So it's almost like everything else that I get to experience comes out of her mouth in the form of thought.
Right.
But everything else, I would tell you, there isn't a point where I don't want to just be in here with her.
Right.
Hope that answers
Put that out. Right. We'll get to that when I got some more over here.
Okay. Hi guys, I have a question for your YouTube video, live video. Hope this gets to you guys. I watch all of your guys' videos. Thank you.
So sorry. We don't even watch
you guys
our
like
videos.
drink alcohol or smoke weed or do some cocaine or something? I mean, dude,
We don't even watch all of our videos. As a matter of fact, we haven't watched any of our videos.
We have never watched one of our videos all the way through.
I will self-judge and take them all down.
Because we stay now,
I
so
will
everything.
self-judge them to death.
We promised each other we wouldn't do that, but we promised each other we would always give you presents. We would always give you us right now. We're not going to give you us sugar-coated. We're not going to put on an act. If we're fighting and we do a video, we will put it out. We just put it out there so you guys get the real truth.
We do have conflict sometimes. Don't get it twisted.
She has conflict sometimes. I stand and watch. Anyway, please help. I love you.
You're about to watch it right now.
I have a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that my twin and I had only 2 arranged encounters. We've never had any time of relationship or any kind of relationship or friendship. Barely even talked. It's been a year of solid hell since the encounters. He even placed a restraining order against me over the summer. I let go in late July, but I still feel him missing me. Yet he's never showed or shared he cares about me. I feel doomed. Any insight? Thank you, and hope to potentially work with you guys to do a person. Okay, that's
Okay. Let me start with how I hate the word normal or typical. This is very conducive of a journey. How many times did you want to put a restraining order on me? I wanted to put a couple on you.
the times that I was at the police station, and the times that I actually was just thinking about it, because they're two different numbers.
Thought about it myself.
But you didn't go to the extreme. You went to a police station. But I knew that I would look crazy. So anyway, go ahead. Do you have some insight?
Yeah, of course I do. I don't know if you've seen our videos, because I want to use do the stand still, but just be still. Here's the thing: if you're holding on to obsession, or if you're holding on to expectation of any way, shape, or form, that's getting in your way.
And then there's probably some other things that are going around in the background. Usually in situations like this, there's a lot more questions we need to ask you that even tell you what would be the best insight for you. But it does point to something having to do with you directly. Usually when things can escalate to this space, that means that there's something on the inside of you that you would have never told this person to begin with. And sometimes that can condemn you and cause you this kind of conflict, especially if their communication is broken, it's not real strong, or if it just seems kind of eerie. So this has something to do with something that you have to go in and see within yourself, because it almost sounds like you didn't reach out and actually have communication and conversation, or even try to establish a friendship. And if that's the case, what that looks like at the other side is that there's something on the inside of you that you just kind of keep holding back, and it doesn't feel very comfortable at the other side. So this would probably be something where I would say, why don't you do this? Why don't you sit and talk to Lee and Sherry for a free 30 minutes so we could ask you some questions, because we can get right to the root of it immediately. And it's not something that I think we could give you right here, because, like I said, I have some questions that I would like to ask. And sometimes these questions, I'm going to have to listen to you talk to even hear where you're going against yourself, because here you actually went against yourself, but you didn't really even elaborate.
She's clearly going against herself.
Yeah.
In a thought process.
Well, and we all tend to do that, because we do this thing where we want to go, they, and we hear a whole lot of they, but we never hear the I. So we got to hear the I. So it almost sounds like you're automatically abandoning and rejecting yourself already. So when you're doing a lot of the they, or you're doing a lot of the person I'm connected to, 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 what about you? So that all of this story, there's a backstory that's kind of unheard. And if you probably tell yourself, because usually in this case, who's ever loved the real you?
Is it common to have a person come into the picture who resembles your twin, but acts as how you wish your twin would act in union? What word did I hear?
Wishes?
Oh, how I wish you would act differently sometimes.
Oh, yes, because I want you to love the me that you wish I was. So, in other words, I don't love who they really are. I love who I want them to be. How is that being in love with them?
Right. Oh, we got a cough on that one.
No, yeah, and that was your cough. Thanks.
It was.
I can hear it.
Let me say this before you go.
I'm not touching this.
Oh,
That's all you. Go ahead. That's your boo-boo.
Yeah. Yeah. When Lee and I were when he left for 2 years, 2 years by the way, um, I I went on a couple dates with a guy named Lee.
And a girl named Sherry came into my life, but we'll talk about that.
His name was Lee. He kind of resembled him. Same skin tone, and kind of resembled him. And he was a gentleman. But he wasn't Lee.
I wasn't a gentleman.
Or he wasn't a gentleman.
Hell,
Um,
I was a mess.
another thing when we was in our final separation, and I was dating another guy who literally told me everything I wanted to hear and offered me the world, and he had it to offer. Monetary, didn't want me to work, wanted me to stay home, wanted me to be a princess, wanted to buy me a car, wanted to put me up in his house, wanted me to be a wife, and everything you ever would think of or want, I was being subjected to. It still wasn't Lee. Wish he would. Do I wish Lee would treat me like that? No. No. I wish that there was no word wish.
Right? Because ultimately, when we had to look at one another and say, this is who we're connected to, we were trying to come up with thought patterns and thought forms to make the other person become that person that we knew that we wanted prior or in the future. But we knew that no matter what we were looking at, what we were going to be to one another, meant that we needed to see what acceptance we didn't have for ourselves or the other person. So when you're wanting somebody to be a certain kind of way, how did you communicate it? Because I think with us, it was, we did run through that. Oh, well, everything's got to be great, and everything's going to be fine, and we got to have this, and we got to have that, and we got to have this, and we got to have that, and we got to have this. And we didn't look at each other and go, but I just got to be with you. And that's all that really mattered. Because, again, this comes down to that same question I said before. Who's ever loved you for the real you? Who knows everything that you say on the inside and can accept it?
And do you love your twin for the real?
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. And it is tough because, you have to kind of start going through your shit to realize why all of a sudden it seems to be so, you have to have things a certain way. Well, you learned that, really. It was kind of inherited. You don't have any choice in it because you have to go against something you've never seen. And it's hard to be what you haven't seen. But it is possible as long as you get rid of time.
This question is for you. Oh, by the way, this person said she read Insects Sting Humans to Wake Them Up. I love that.
Oh, I'm awake.
And for Lee, did you do the whole not answering text calls, ignoring thing? And if so, why?
I did that when I disappeared for 2 years. I did that. It's really easy to do.
The question is why?
Because I don't make her happy. I made her miserable. I don't think I'm ever going to be good enough. Huh?
Why does that say very bad?
Doesn't look like the internet went out again.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Oh, I don't know. No, it didn't. No, is it working?
Are we cutting in and out or anything? Please somebody comment and let us know. Everybody left?
You got 9%.
Nope, it looks like we're still here.
Yeah.
We're still here. You guys sound staticky.
Okay. I'm wondering if we do this.
Okay, how about, are we back? It's fine now.
Alright.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. That seemed to clear it up
that
a
did
lot.
clear it up.
And it could have been low battery.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so my question again was, Lee,
Why? Why did you do the whole?
why did I cut you off?
Yeah.
Because you weren't listening. You were trying to be something for me, and then when you started trying to give me what you thought I wanted, you weren't giving me you. So what's the point of having a conversation with you if you're trying to give me something that you're not?
I have an answer as well.
But why did I cut you off?
Why? It was the texting, the phone calls. Did you not answer? Ignoring the whole ignoring thing. I get it from two different perspectives. When you left for the first time for the 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were off
Well, I
doing
was
things.
gone.
You were hiding.
No, I wasn't hiding.
You knew that I could see deeper into you, and it scared the shit out of you and you ran.
That's half of it.
Dude, tell the other half.
The other half of it is you know, I wasn't good for you. I wasn't good for you. Period.
Because you weren't good for you.
Exactly. And you know, I think about back in when I did that, I think about, okay, she's going to learn about me and my drug problem. She's going to learn about me and my problems. She's going to learn about me and my womanizing. She's going to learn about me, and she's going to find out that I have no self-esteem, really. She's going to find out about, it was like a whole grenade full of stuff, and all the pens had been pulled out of the grenades. So sometimes it was just better just to let me go. But until you finally surrendered and didn't try to chase me, then I stopped and was like, wait a minute. Would she? But at that point, you know, all the pens were starting, the grenades were starting to blow off.
Right.
No way to look at it. So hopefully that answered your question. Did that? Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
How long was your process before the actual union? Oh, God. What felt like 20 million years was we met in 2005.
Mm-hmm. Started talking again in late 2007.
Yeah, 07. We had many.
You got pregnant. I went away,
Mm-hmm.
and it was 2009. So you're talking about years and years and years in between. But really, when you start putting the time in things, this connection doesn't give a shit about time.
Right.
And that's kind of why some people can say, I've known this person for 20 years. I've known this person for 2 hours. I've known this person for... Because this connection... I mean, do you remember being a child and not giving a shit about time? That's what this connection brings out of you. Because that's the truth. You don't have any of that. When you start making this about time, you're already suffering the consequences of the mind. And what the mind wants to tell you, time is not going to give you or going to give you. So, if there's any... It's really... Yes, there's a lot of time involved. But if you asked us how much time, I think we just don't really even focus on that as much. It's this moment. In this moment, and it's been one long continuous moment, and she's been in and out of my life in this moment. But every time she's here in my life in this moment, I feel at home. I know I've found where I'm supposed to be. I've found connection. So get time out of it. Just because there's something that you're using time to that you need to overcome inside of you, not the other person. And that's exactly what caused me to come and go.
Does marijuana addiction interfere with my union due to the fact that I started smoking while my twin first got in a relationship with a soulmate? I'll answer this first. We may have different beliefs, and that's fine. A lot of people have different beliefs. I, for one, do not believe you can be addicted to marijuana. However, if you feel that you are, you can. That's your belief system, and that's fine. Any type of addiction is going to be some type of block. I do not advocate breaking the law in any state. However, I wish I lived in Colorado. I'm trying to walk on eggshells here.
But
Here's the thing.
say it
Sometimes
straight. They need the truth.
sometimes I just have a different view on marijuana versus other drugs. I just do, and I feel
You've never heard anybody dying of a marijuana
Yeah.
overdose. So I don't know that
I honestly
alcohol
feel
addiction can kill you,
Yeah.
heroin addiction can kill you, cocaine addiction can kill you.
pills can
Never
kill me.
heard anybody
Yeah.
marijuana addiction. I think that's kind of a hard thing to say because
Yeah.
nobody's died from it.
Well, yeah, and you're not robbing banks and robbing people to. Here's the thing, if you're out of heroin, you're gonna rob somebody. You're gonna get your heroin. You're out of pot, it's just a bad day.
Yeah.
You're just out of pot, right? You're just out of pot.
Yeah.
That's just it. So I don't know. Maybe I just have different views. I personally believe that marijuana is
It has
it
healing
can shut
capabilities.
it very much has healing capabilities, and it can shut the mind noise out
We've seen
and down.
and understand that we also have family that actually has to smoke that for Parkinson's, for nerve disorders, and those kinds of things, and they actually are better with it than without it. So sometimes, depending on what you're going through and what actually you need in your system, I don't know that you can call that an addiction. So I don't have. I wish I had a better answer for you, but I would say that
And I love this guy's
I don't-
name. It's amazing.
I don't
His name's
believe
awesome.
that there's an interference there. I believe that the lack of communication is there. One has more power than the other. And we've all got to get this right. Can somebody please answer for us? How come she was married and we still stayed in communication and I didn't create any rules for her?
We didn't cross lines
No.
either.
Well, no. We knew we were connected.
Yeah,
We knew
that
how we felt when we felt the sexual.
We did.
We felt it.
We
but
did.
but see, the thing was, is we would talk, and it wasn't like, you're right. I respected it, but I didn't make it into a problem
Right.
because that's what we're doing. We're going to go, oh, well, until they do this and that, then I'll talk to them and then we'll be connected. Well, I'm going to be connected to them and they don't have to choose. You're not choosing me in that case because I would rather have you in my life in any form, in any way, and be able to talk to you. So I know that you're in here. You're in here regardless. So I might as well be able to at least communicate with you. That felt better to me. Now, what I was making into a problem is my mind was that said, well, she's with this other guy and they get in bed together. And I was like, that's not really doing anything to the connection. So I would ground more in what I felt. And you can tell when that big fight where you have between your mind and your body.
Oh.
And your body starts to make your heart hurt. And it causes you to have it's like trying to get your attention to ground yourself in your body.
Right.
But you're too busy listening to the bullshit in your head. And your body keeps it makes it hurt really bad until you get the point. That's because that's where the connection originated from. At least that's what we found. Because once I stopped listening to that shit, my heart was felt good. It was always open and always felt butterflies in it. Shit. I'm just putting that out there.
Have you ever waited for your other to reach out because you felt that you were doing the bulk of the communication initiative? How to get him to initiate?
Does he know you want that? And not only does he know you want that, is he allowed to show up the way he is, or does he have to show up the way you tell him to? Right? So sometimes it seems like, and then once he's there and he's all around you and he's holding you and everything else, but then when you want him to walk in, sometimes you're like, well, he's just not reaching out to me fast enough. He didn't text me he should be texting me right now because I can feel him. I don't understand why he hadn't picked up his phone and did anything. It's like, and he's at the other end feeling this going, I feel like he's texting me. And you are.
Why don't you just ask him?
Yeah.
Why don't you just say, hey,
Is your communication strong enough for you to have the conversation? If you say, I've got to confront him about it, that's not communication.
This is a follow-up to the marijuana question.
Okay.
This was in 2009, and they broke up in 2010 because he cheated on her. And he's long gone, but I still smoke marijuana. Is this the reason why I'm not in union? Visit me or something. I'm going to give you my personal opinion, and I don't feel that way at all. I don't feel like, no.
She did answer her question. If you really listen to it, she feels,
That's
number
a
one.
he, I think.
Okay, well, here's the
I don't
thing.
know. It could be a
The,
she.
the,
whatever. Fine.
yeah, because the name. So listen to this. If you listen really deep to what was actually being asked here, is my weed versus my twin. Does your twin know you do weed? And are you having any kind of, do you have an open discussion? Is there an open communication? Did the twin say, I don't like people who do this, and now you've taken that, you've made that your own, and you're saying that's why we're not together, because I can't choose my weed over my twin. If it comes down to having your blunt or being with your twin, you're going to have to, where's your communication level at, and how come it's not strong enough? And if you have judgment, don't worry, the judgment that you have for yourself, they're going to give you too. But that's why you get rid of judgment, right?
That's right. This is just cute. My daughter just walked in and said, she looks so pretty. Can you tell her? Like the boy, too. She's 5.
Oh,
That's awesome. That's
Hi.
so cute. So, yes, this will be recorded, by the way.
Yes.
I'm losing some of these, so, I don't know where to go with this.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, we have a coaching training in the room. Cassie
Oh,
is here. I don't know if she's still here, but she's one of our coaches in training.
yeah, she's coming to
Hi, Cassie.
Hi, Cassie.
She is, she'll be certified in when? Soon?
A few weeks.
Few weeks? She'll be certified and ready to help you all.
It's deep work. I think that our coaches they've gone through some deep work, all of them. Every single one since the beginning.
Yeah, and I want to kind of address this because I'm feeling it in my soul. Because there was a question in the email, and somebody said that they were working with one of our coaches, and they still feel like there's something being left. I don't want you to tell me who that coach is you're working with or anything like that, but I want to make sure that our coaches are so well trained that they can catch that, right? Please mention to your coach this question.
No,
And
absolutely. And if it's something that we can
and
help
if it's
with,
something we can help with,
have them bring us in.
Yeah, have them bring us into one of your sessions.
Absolutely.
We'll do it, and we can clear that up for you.
Absolutely.
We want to definitely support all of our coaches in this, and if you're a coach and you're watching, we definitely support you, and we'll do anything to help you.
You're master
I
time.
know.
Okay.
Where am I at? After I told my twin flame about a sexual abuse issue with my family, my twin flame responded a week later asking if I was down for a threesome. I cut him off. Should I have acted different? 7 years in connection. Cutting him off may have been a little abrupt. Yeah, but I get it. I mean, I was sexually abused, so I'm understanding where you're coming from. However, explaining to him how that felt to you may have been a better way, and explaining to him that you were hurt by it, and that it brought up something in you that's not a healing.
Would you say that and this is for this person who's asked this question, would you say that our communication and our connection has in any way helped heal your sexual abuse trauma?
For sure.
And is it because of the communication?
It's definitely because of the communication.
So
Yeah.
you and I can talk completely openly about any sexual thing
Yes.
whatsoever.
Mhm.
So if I was to just randomly say something that I want, you wouldn't run.
No,
You would be open to talking about
I
it.
would be open to discussing how I felt about it.
You'd be open to discussing how you felt about it. Now, sexual desire is not the same as sexual passion, sexual fulfillment, sexual connection.
True.
Sexual connection is a very powerful thing. So, what is not being met in the sexual connection if you're not talking about it?
Right.
So if there's something not being talked about and all of a sudden
Right.
they're trying to see if the door's open to even have a discussion, if cutting them off kind of cut you off
What
without
is
even seeing
he
that there may
missing?
be some, well,
What
what is
is-
the, how
yes.
far healing are you in your sexual trauma?
And
that's something we can help with
What
too.
is
but-
it that he is missing that he's wanting to fill with this
well,
fantasy or?
no, depending, that's what I'm saying, what her sexual trauma isn't in healing, that when they may be together, he may be feeling a sense of, like, he may not be enough, and that maybe, that, you know, maybe throwing some excitement in there in some way to see if it changes, if somebody else being there changes how the interaction is, because sometimes when we go through a trauma like that, we don't ever talk about it, or if we ever stuff it down for a couple of years, or years and years and years, or then when we really finally talk about it, do we ever really get out everything? Because when you don't get out everything, you end up suffering. And when you're suffering, you believe you're suffering alone. So then you will cut people out of your life because you're suffering alone. So this may be some other way that is still the same. Did anybody else ever hurt you in a way where it brought up this same trauma and you cut them off?
Right.
So you need to go back in and actually look at how
Right.
deep this actually is. And if it's something Sherry and I can help you with, because we definitely have been helping. I think this year's been the year of helping sexual abuse.
Yeah. We have a nonprofit called Reinventing Innocence that focuses on sexual abuse.
So that, hopefully that answered your question. Know that we have great love and great understanding for what your question is, but we can also see that there's still some trauma there that you probably, if you don't have a really good communication or understand what it is you're really trying to say, we can help.
For sure.
Okay.
Kylie and Sherry. Sherry. Oh, will you,
Go ahead.
Will you grab my cord? Where's my cord? I'm gonna die over here. I'd like to ask you a question. Sherry, when you two were not in union, did you ever confess how you really felt to Lee? And Lee, if that was the case, how did you take Sherry's openness? In the beginning of our relationship, absolutely not. I did not. I didn't even know what the hell it was, honestly. I knew that when I was with Lee, that there was something different, that there was something.
I felt there's a good way for me to, yeah. She
You
was,
did it?
yeah.
Okay.
So here's how I felt.
This is union, folks. Now
When
he
I
knows
came-
what I'm. Now
when
he knows what I'm talking
when I
about.
came back in 2007, I didn't want a relationship with Sherry. Didn't want one, because I was connected, and I knew that if we were in a relationship, I'd fuck that up. Because I sucked the relationship.
Family show.
I'm sorry, but this is live. Get in the real.
We don't
bad
have a
thing.
5 second.
And sometimes I drop words as a way to give them a message that sometimes ding, 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 ding. What are you in, Johnny? Because we've heard this a lot. You come into this connection and the other person says, I don't want a relationship with you. And they're telling them that, and nobody wants to ask further what that means. They take the rejection and they start letting it sit with them, and then they start going into that self-triggering effect again.
Correct.
So what ended up happening is I knew I didn't want to be in a relationship with Sherry,
Yeah.
but I knew that I was connected to it.
Right.
Because to me, they weren't, and they really aren't the same thing.
And I will say this. No, I never did in the beginning say to you, I'm going to knock this back down to 3 weeks. I didn't say to you, I am spiritually in love with you.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I
yeah,
didn't
you
say,
didn't say that.
oh my gosh, you make me not be able to speak.
Yeah.
You're the one that makes me trip. I didn't, and fall. I am falling in love with you. I would never have said that to you early on. When you left that day and you were gone for 2 years, I knew as soon as we were together physically, you were gone.
Yes.
I couldn't get you out the house fast enough.
Right.
And then I didn't hear from you for 2 years. When you came back, I did, however, say, I always wondered what you were doing. I always wondered how you were. I always wondered, right?
Yeah.
But never did I then even, until we were in relationship, right? And we were trying to figure that part out, and we were talking, did we ever confess to each other how we really feel?
But see, here's the thing. How we really feel didn't explain the unexplainable. So let me clarify. I could be walking, I could feel her, and then all of a sudden I look down and she's calling. And it wasn't like the phone even rang yet. I would feel like, I was almost like I could feel the buttons being pressed and it was being called.
Right.
And then there were other things I was like, and then I started to assume you were just a witch. I thought for sure you had a hex on me.
We have nothing
You-
against witches, by the way.
No. Like, understand,
Disclaimer.
understand I mean it like, the Wizard of Oz. So, I mean, I wanted to drop a house.
Glenda
No,
or
I'm
the
sorry.
name?
No, I love you. So, all of these unexplainable things, when she brought up, even when, the reason why she probably, and thank God, well, she did kind of say, there's a weird, like, connection thing. And then I got kind of quiet, so she got up that kind of talk. And that was a good thing, because if she didn't let me figure it out on my own, and she kept telling me there was one, the more I would have been in my head trying to deny it, and that's what everybody ends up fighting anyway, because you're already in your head denying this connection anyway. If you just let yourself pay attention more to the body, the feeling, you actually will understand, because the feeling voices the truth, the thought is the lie. So I would always kind of, it was like it was a jolt, or it was a push, or it was a butterfly, or it was, I think, smile over my face, and I'm like, or I'd have tears, and I'm like, why in the hell is this? And I didn't understand any of it, and then but I instantly could see or feel her, and then it was like instantaneous, and then it just became almost natural. Something was going on, and pick up the phone, hey, what's going on? And she would tell me a bunch of stuff that was going on, and I was like, how am I doing this?
Right.
And I remember I was asking you at one point,
Yeah.
do you ever,
Yeah.
and I was kind of leery too, because it's a really hard thing to talk about, but the communication really needs to be there. It really does, because the mind will play tricks if not.
Right. That's big. The mind will play tricks.
Absolutely. And here's how you know. The feeling comes first. The thought is the aftermath. And the thought is usually going to try to tell you what something is. But if you're trying to do that without communication, man, it's torture, and it's also a way to suffer. And you think the other person is doing it to you, and they really don't.
There's another coach in
Oh,
training.
hi, Lisa.
Has she been through?
Yes.
She's certified?
Yeah. Oh, she's RCC right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
So
I hope you
Lisa's
got
in
our
the
email,
room?
because
Lisa's in the room?
yeah, we got a birthday tomorrow, so yeah.
Yeah, there's...
We'll message.
Yeah, we'll message you about class now. So we've been going on for an hour.
Okay. What do you want to do?
I will answer a couple more questions, and then we'll let these people have their evening.
So,
I did explain it before I cut him off. He did respond or apologize. I asked him if he had an issue with sex, any porn addiction, etc. I was very open, and he just told me he didn't. That was a follow-up from the other.
okay. So if he doesn't have those things, what is the openness he's looking for with you that maybe you two need to explore together? And it doesn't need to include anybody else, but just be open. Because even asking him if he has an addiction, now he might have gone into himself, because if Sherry looked at me and said, do you have a sex addiction? Automatically I'm going to go into myself and start judging myself and say, what? And I'm going to feel less than, not enough, not good enough, and then I'm going to shut down. And I may even just go play it off and act like, no, it's nothing like that. But there's still something left unsaid. Find out what the unsaid is.
Kylie and Sherry, my twin discovered twin flames through seeing a few of you. I can see you. My twin discovered twin flames through seeing a
see
few. You.
What was I doing?
Oh, never mind.
You've got two screens up,
I
and you
am-
thought I was over here doing something.
Yes.
Okay.
I've got this screen up that I'm answering questions on. I saw you moving. I'm like, I can see you. That's hilarious. Anyway,
She
Kylie and
forgets the
Sherry.
camera's here.
My
now, but-
twin discovered twin flames through seeing a few of my messages with men in Facebook. I gave him an ultimatum. Him or the twin flame community. He ended things with me. Is this something? Oh.
Mm-hmm. So first of all, so your twin gave you an ultimatum for talking to other men.
No, wait a minute.
Your twin gave you an
Gave me
ultimatum
an
for
ultimatum,
talking
yes.
to other men. And the ultimatum, and you weren't flirting, and they weren't flirting with you. They had no sexual interest in you, and there wasn't anything in those messages that was going to hurt them. But here's the thing. If you're connected to him, why were you talking to other men who were connected without him? And why wasn't he included in this communication that you're having about your connection? So yeah, it kind of seems like it's not so much that he's in the right, but without the communication and without the understanding, how is your connection even going to actually get stronger? If you had these messages in there and he found them, it also points to that you didn't want him to see them. How is that being completely open with your love, with your truth, with everything you are? Something in there is something learned. And if you guys need our help, we're here.
Sherry, how did you keep busy when you weren't with Lee during your separations?
Oh, she kept busy. Don't worry about that. She kept busy.
Found somebody to keep me busy.
Pass her time with. I felt it all too. I gave as good as I got though. Don't you worry about that.
I just, I know and knew at that point that Lee and I would always be connected. We just weren't going to be in union.
What is dangerous, and this is just from the masculine speaking for a moment, the deep masculine that I didn't understand. And this is where it gets dangerous. So all of the masculine twins or connections, listen up. This connection has a very strong sexual energy. And when you're with your twin, there's a communication that's passing between you in those responses. You will try to be with somebody else and you will mess them up because they don't understand what you're trying to give them. They don't understand what this feeling is, and they're going to mistake you for their connection because you're going to go, I feel like I could go and get up to that person, to that person, to that. It's going to be one that almost seems like you, but the only person who really answers you back is the one you're directly connected to. I get it, but don't do it. It's not fair to that person, and it sure as hell isn't fair to you. Just my 2 cents.
I agree. Work on you, work on your inner self, bring out that inner child, Clay.
Oh yeah.
Clay.
This is a connection that takes you back to being, and it takes you back to that child, and you feel free in it. Yeah. We have so much fun when we're just playing and we're just let go of time. I mean, the practice of letting go of time. Well, all you gotta do is be a kid again. Go to the playground.
Yeah. Swing.
Walk, hold hands, play in the pool.
During separation.
Even during separation, you got to still get back to that child because that's where your connection is.
Where your connection is.
And you see, all the things that happen to you as a child has an extreme effect on this connection. Extreme.
Yeah, and you know, keeping busy during separation it's play. Find that inner child. Do things that you want to do. Be you. And accept that and be free.
Get off the internet. Get off trying to find out what this connection is and play again. Just be in the bubble state because it's very easy to just step into. And you're free there. You don't need judgment. All you need is the truth and just be free. Smile, laugh, cry together, play together. Enjoy it. Let go of time. And let go of the mind. Let go of, oh, we got to have this. We got to have what Lee and Sherry have. We got to have this. You guys only see us for this short period of time, but trust us, we're thinking relationship reinvented TV. That's got to be the way to go. Because if you guys could see us day in and day out, you guys would really probably start to get it. There's so much to this connection that it's the one you have to yourself. Though.
Big shout out to Owen Walsh. Owen. Hey, we've kept you guys for an hour, and that's a long time. if we did not get to your question, please copy and paste it or put it in the comments below this video and we'll get
Or
to it.
email.
Or email us and we'll get to it. We're going to be coming here live a lot. We also go live in our Twin Flame Work group.
Well, we were going to do the radio show,
and
right?
Facebook and the radio show.
Are we
going to
do
come
this?
back.
I'd rather, you think this
I
would
don't
be
know.
better?
Maybe we should take a poll and get opinion on the radio show. Or if maybe we should have a weekly show,
Mhm.
a weekly YouTube show,
Yeah.
and then a question and answer on YouTube. I'm thinking that's the direction we're going to go. We're going to have a weekly show where we talk on those topics. We love you guys. Thank you for watching. I cannot believe there's this many people watching us at this late at night. And it's going on 11 p.m.
If we knew how to do a
Eastern Standard Time.
podcast, we would do one. We just don't.
We're working in it.
Yeah.
I've looked at them and I'm
Okay.
thinking about it. So
Okay. I
we
don't-
just have a lot of projects going on. Relationship Reinvented is doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. We're actually up for an award. We go on
Yay!
Friday. We're up
Better
for
Business Bureau.
Better Business Bureau
The,
Award, the Torch Awards for
the Torch
ethical
Award.
values in the marketplace.
Yeah.
So we
That's
are
huge,
up
dude.
for an ethics award. So be careful out there if you're looking for spiritual advice, if you're looking for spiritual coaching, if you're looking for things like that. Please make sure the person you're talking to is authentic and genuine, and
Do the research.
do the research. We are Relationship Reinvented,
We
Twin Flame
will-
Lee and Sherry
Here's-
Patterson. We are accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Our certification course is accredited. We are a legitimate LLC.
One more piece. Nobody can tell you that you can't be connected to who you're connected to. They just can't. And if you're finding that over and over again, and there's something and you're still fighting it, you're right. So just know that we believe in you and we got you. We got your back. We're not here to tell you who you're connected to. We're here to help you
Or who you're not
understand
connected to.
and
Yeah.
be connected. There's nothing about Lee and Sherry that says, let me find a way to get you disconnected from who you're connected to. You'll never find that, not in any space in this channel. Relationship Reinvented is based on the relationship you have to yourself. And we're going to stick to that. Because if we can connect you to yourself, your connection will come into your life. That's what we're here to do. And we're not going to stop until we're done.
They're asking what the email is. Email us at info at relationshipreinvented.com. Relationship
This hair on it,
Reinvented is
if you wanna
one word.
polish it, somebody wants to polish my head.
There's a little bit of stubble on it right now.
I've got something for you to rub later.
This is a family show.
No, it's not.
Info at relationshipreinvented.com. Relationship Reinvented is one word. Relationshipreinvented.com. Info, INFO. We do twin flame coaching. We also do life coaching and career coaching and interview coaching.
Career coaching.
I said career coaching.
Oh.
Didn't
No, you said
Okay.
interview coaching.
Oh.
So in career
I?
coaching.
Business coaching.
Every-
We built Relationship Reinvented from the ground up, and we can teach you how.
We
to
also have very strong healing courses. Root camp,
Boot camp.
sexual abuse root camp, addiction root camp. All of the things that we have are for your greater healing and to wake you to what your purpose could be. If you just choose it.
Is it possible to be awakened twice? Yes.
Actually, you have to remember you've created layers to be in this world and have to deal with this world. We go back and cut through the layers, and each step of the way, you're going to be awake each layer. There's more to you than just two. You're infinite. Don't worry. We're here to help.
I've been back to sleep a couple times and woke.
Yeah. Oh, it's easy to fall back
It's
asleep.
easy to fall back asleep. It's easy to fall back asleep. It's very much like a drug addiction. It's easy to relapse.
It's really easy to get caught up so much in your mind noise.
Mind
and the
noise.
identity that your mind is trying to tell you that you have to keep is the identity you defend. And the next thing you know, and then you wake up and go, I don't need an identity. Then you're like, oh, but everybody's going to look at me. And then, here comes the identity. Oh, I don't need an identity. And you keep falling back into that in and out phase.
We love you too,
Yes.
Night. And
Yes.
we love her so much. She was out here for our retreat last year.
Oh, yeah.
She's
yeah.
awesome. I love her to death. We love you guys. Please post these questions in the comments
Or
after this
email
video.
us.
Or email us, info@relationshipreinvented.com.
We get through our email. It takes some time. I know that we only read 3 of them. I know there were a bunch more. We picked
There
out
was a bunch
a
more,
few of
yeah.
them, and we wanted to come back on. We're sorry we missed you earlier. The universe had other plans for us apparently. So, and we did do that. So, we're here. We love you, and we will talk to you guys soon.